purpose of the Adult Support Protection Act. It provides a means to intervene and prevent harm from continuing. Adult Support Protection Act is very much dealing with people who want to be involved, who want to consent to involvement from the social work services to help prevent harm from happening to them again. It puts in place strengthened measures to give greater protection for those at risk, and we'll talk about those measures. And it's there to improve interagency cooperation by requiring public bodies to cooperate with the councils who are the lead agency in adult protection, and with each other where harm is known or suspected. It doesn't need to be actually, obvious. It can be suspected harm, and we've got a duty to look at that. What does it do? New adult protection powers and procedures. It establishes multi-agency adult protection committees that I've mentioned, and the committees oversee strategic and operational effectiveness. And that means that what they do is they look at, they actually talk to one another. Is this working? Does it make a difference to the people in East Renfrewshire? Because that's what it's all about. There is a report due to go to government in October, and that's what we're going to be looking at, is how effective has this been? Are staff aware of it, and are we getting reports? We've had somewhere in the region of 250 reports about adult harm. A lot of them we've dealt with through welfare measures. We've taken no orders under this Act at all, because in most occasions, we've had a couple where we've looked at the potential for orders, but what we've done is we've put in strengthened welfare measures to actually protect and reduce the harm, and it is monitored for a period of time to make sure that that's effective. And there was some other amendments to primary legislation which are not really relevant this afternoon. Adult support protection is based on set principles, as are the other two pieces of legislation, and the principles are there. The wishes of the adult, the nearest relative, carer, guardian, the importance of people participating in any decision-making processes. Any decisions that involve them, they should be actively involved in that process, and they should not be treated less favourably, and their abilities, their background and characteristics of that individual have got to be taken into account. This is very much an act where it's in participation with the adult themselves. The new powers that we have gives us a power to make inquiries. Now, we've always had that power. Social work have always had that power. We've also always had that duty of care to make sure that we do inquire into circumstances where people are in need of support and protection. But it gives us strengthened powers. It means that if we can access that individual, we now have powers that would allow us to get in through the door. A lot of the reports that you may have heard of in the past really relate to, yes, they knew there was a child in the house, but they couldn't see the child. Or they knew there was an adult in the house, but they didn't see the adult. And if we get a report of harm to an adult, we now have the right to say, I'm sorry, but we are coming into your house. You are not going to stop us at the door. We can go and get a warrant to go and see your mother, your aunt, your sister, the person who we believe might be getting harmed in that house. That's actually a big thing for us, because we didn't, while we had the duty to protect, we didn't have the right to go in to the property. We investigate as well, so we make inquiries, and if we believe that there is something there, that there is harm, we will investigate further. We carry out assessments of need and their circumstances, and we can intervene to remove an adult or to manage the risk of harm. As I said, it's about consent. We do that with the adult's consent. Because what we find sometimes is that people, they want permission to say, yeah, it's okay, I'm okay to go with you for 7 days, because we can take people away and put them in a place of safety somewhere that's agreeable to them for up to 7 days, to allow them to come forward and say what's happening and how they're feeling. And we know that sometimes the permission to do that that is what's needed, because other than that they would just say, no, it's all right, I'll just stay home. And if necessary, and as a very last resort, we would to exclude the person who's causing the harm. Now, this act has not been used widely throughout Scotland. There have been something like 15, 20 banning orders that basically are stopping somebody going near an adult who's an adult at risk. Banning orders last for about 6 months. We try to keep a track of what is happening throughout Scotland, and we know that the powers to protect are not widely used in terms of orders, but we know that other local authorities, and the same as ourselves, are in actual fact taking steps to protect through welfare measures. A definition of an adult at risk. Anybody who fits this criteria will be an adult at risk. If they don't fit the criteria, it doesn't mean to say that they don't get a service. It just means that they get a different service, that they would get a community care service. They would still get that, and part of our investigations or in our inquiries might show that this person is not an adult at risk, but you would still get a service if you needed it. So, adults aged 16 and over who are unable to safeguard their own well-being, property, rights or other interests are at risk of harm, and because they are affected by disability, mental disorder, illness, physical or mental infirmity, are more vulnerable to being harmed than adults who are not so affected. What this Act is very clearly saying is, because you have a disability, doesn't mean to say you're an adult at risk, because many people with disabilities are very able people and are able to safeguard themselves, are able to take action themselves, so would not fit this criteria. So the unable to safeguard is a very crucial part